right. Hopefully that corrected the problem. We'll find out here in just a moment, I suppose. Everything seems to be running good besides that. All right, so Full Metal Joker, let's start off the new year with a new topic. Would you like to pick it?
Well, all right. Toys.
Toys. What toys were in the 80s versus toys produced today?
That's easy. Durability. Uh, toys in the '80s lasted a lot longer than the toys today. There wasn't really any kind of political position like toys today are. It's just toys are toys, and whatever kids want to play with, that's their toy. Not these toys are only for boys. How come these toys are only for boys and the other toys only for girls? Kind of
I
stuff.
I agree, and you see that a lot in stores when you go shopping. That a lot of toys that used to be aimed at the type of toys you'd want to play with now seem to be like, okay, well that's a cool toy, but why is it like this? That's not what I want. They're changing certain aspects of the toys that just don't make it as fun to make it more neutral. Um, I'm not trying to be very specific here, but let's go with the Barbies and the dolls. And I've noticed there used to be alternate dolls, not as many of them. But now when you go shopping for a doll and you pick up one of everything, it seems that most of them, more than half in some cases, are dolls and less, the classic, which is cool to see, but they're really really pushing for that, and you can see it when you go shopping, and the toys on the shelves have drastically changed in all areas. I mean, I don't even live in an area where there's very high percentage, but don't get me wrong, I still bought the dolls for my daughter, both kinds. I mean, all kinds. I don't have a problem with that. It just seems that more and more of the shelf is being taken up with it.
Yeah,
Games
and with
even
me,
are missing different pieces, and some things have changed because certain things weren't seen as right. I'm trying to think of good examples. I've read a couple articles going through this year. There's a lot of examples. I can't think of any. All right, so we got just over 2 minutes left. The stream's gone to hell. There's not a whole lot I can do about it.
except for ride the wave.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and chat about toys for 2 minutes while I see what I can do here.
All right. Well, other than the fact the durability, I can remember a lot of the toys that I had growing up in the '90s had in the same brand of toy had better quality than the ones now. So the
I would even say that there was fewer imitations, and that allowed for the brands that really worked their butt off to come up with something and put out a variety like Lego. They really made the best of it in that time. Whereas now, if you go out and buy Legos, there's so many different types that just you end up sometimes buying the cheaper ones, and they don't.
about that, but that's a different topic.
Absolutely. All right, we'll pop this toy one out. Would you like to pick another one off the board?
All right.
I don't know why my stream health is still low, and there's nobody in there watching.
Yeah. Let's see another topic. Yes. Well, college.
College. College is a good one. I just happen to be hovering over it anyway. Should college entry benefit those who are in poverty if their grades do not support this?
No, if you, I do believe that if you don't have the grades to prove that you're capable of being in college, then no, because college is a place of higher learning, and if you're unable to show that you're able to work hard in that kind of in that kind of environment, you should not be there.
Okay, that's pretty fair. Um, so what about the people who don't get the opportunity to go to college because the schools they were in didn't offer them the education they needed to succeed?
Well, that would well, then I'd also you should also look at the parents too, because guess what? And the family structure, because my parents worked all the time, but they mostly my father, he pretty much made sure that I done my homework, that all my assignments were in check, and during the summer I had two options: either help my great grandmother out on her farm, or go to my either my grandparents on my mother's side or my father's side. And yeah, we'd go do things, but I would mostly be homeschooled from them during the summer. So even when school was out, I was still being schooled.
All right. Well, the argument comes in, and I want to say it was, as hard as this is to say, it was Hillary Clinton's argument that said that everybody should get a chance to go to college regardless of their income level or financial abilities to pay for college.
I would
So
and to, I
so
would
if
agree.
we keep that separate from their grades and we look at their income level, then people who lived in a poverty lifestyle should be allowed to go, and then their grades get looked at as to what they need to take in college. Or do we look at this as in you shouldn't really be looked at for the amount of money and the financial ability that you have to go to college. You should be looked at for the grades that you managed to get through school.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I am, and someone that I talked to brought this up to me, and I kind of agree with this now. If you're a straight A student, you should have the price should be cut for those with higher grades. The lower your grades are, the more you should have to pay. Because guess what? The more that you would have to do in college to keep your grades at a passing level. The le- so also even throw more scholarships out there to people based on grades, not because of class, not because of the color of your skin, but more academic scholarships. Reward people for their hard work, not push them back
All
because
right.
of their hard work.
All right, so this is where possibly the controversy over grades and poverty start to come into play. If you look into some of the southern states, and again, I'm speaking in reference to America, of course. If you look at some of the southern states, the educational requirements for that state are possibly at the national minimum, not at the state minimum. And if you go up to like the western or the northeastern areas, the education levels are raised above the national standards, somewhere within the state standards. And if you wanted to go to college and you came from a southern, more poverty stricken area and your standards were lower and your finances were lower, so you weren't able to get extra higher education during regular high school, like VOTEC training or extracurricular training or Um, there are other things that colleges and entry level jobs look at when you're out of high school. But boy, it's been almost 20 years for me. So um, if you take somebody from the southern, more poverty stricken area and you move them into the north where the education level is higher, the colleges build off the education of the area where the high schools leave off at. So, okay, you get these cooperative classes where certain schools will work with colleges to get you college classes in high school to get you advanced training so that you'll go to college afterwards. And some areas don't offer that because they don't have the finances to collude from college to high school. And certain students in these areas of lower economic ability will not be able to have the same um, curriculum to them as somebody in a northern, more financially stable area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make sure we're looking at both sides of this argument. So college entry might need some benefits for people who are in poverty, even if their grades don't necessarily support it, because their grades are based on the ACTs, SATs. I'm trying to think. I think there was one more. And in
And
some areas, they might be not as well prepared for these tests.
well, well prepared. It also everyone nowadays, even the poorest of the poor, has some way of connecting to the internet. Now, before you take the tests, there are study guides to the SATs and the ACTs. And I'm saying this is coming from someone because hey, I'm gonna dabble more into it because I don't care about being doxxed. I am, and it's hard for people to tell. I am autistic. I've got a speech impediment, slurry problems, and ADHD, along with a few other things. I was able to work hard enough to get out of special ed and take regular classes in high school. I graduated with a diploma. I took the SATs and I didn't score too low, but it was well above 1,000, well above 1,100. Now, if a retarded person like me can do it, what's wrong with some? And I'm poor. And I'm poor. I'm 27 years old without a job, and I'm still looking for a job. If a poor person like me was able to get into regular classes and score good on the SATs, what's the problem with someone with no mental issues? That's why I have no sympathy for people that make excuses why they can't push themselves forward. Whereas for me, I was born with a shit hand and I was able to graduate and make my way through school.
Right. Me, I was one of those kids that I messed around a lot in school. Didn't really do all I was supposed to do. And in the end, my grades didn't really reflect what I learned. So we'll leave it right there.
Yeah.
But it is difficult telling because again, I always want to treat a conversation or something like this as look at both sides of this. On one side, anybody who's worked their butt off and gotten 99, 100, or a 4.0 GPA, however you want to read their high school grades. If somebody's worked their butt off to get the best grades they possibly can so they can go to the best college they possibly can and get everything the best they can, when another student doesn't quite score as high but comes from a poverty stricken area and gets all the same treatment as the person who spent years trying to make sure they did the best possible, that seems a little bit it makes it almost seem like all that you did was pointless. I worked my butt off to get to the same place as this person who can't do what I can do. How is
Yeah.
that fair? And
And
I
then
think
and you
that's
know
what
what?
people see.
Yeah, and at the end, college is going to suffer. It is going to suffer because people aren't going to sit there and work harder to get to the same point as someone that doesn't really work at all.
No, because they realize that somebody is just going to get exactly where they are without putting in that same amount of effort,
Yeah.
and it doesn't seem fair. All right, I'm going to see, why am I still, everything's green, but it looks like we're running behind. All right, would you like to pick the next topic?
All right. Well, transportation.
Transportation. Classic cars versus electric cars. Gas versus electricity.
Well, see that's an easy one. I have to say, if if electric cars can be as efficient as gas cars, I would be all for electric cars. The only problem with electric cars right now, they are not eco friendly as gas cars. Even though it's hard to believe, it takes it takes a whole lot of electricity, and it's electric cars to keep a handful of electric cars charged. It takes a long time, and it's a strain on the grid. Now, classic cars are better than modern cars because their reliability. Now, they may not be as efficient, but they're more durable and last longer, thus not being much of a strain on natural resources like metal and rubber and stuff like that.
Okay, well, again, another argument that can go both ways. When you're looking at the classic car argument, the classic cars are wonderful. They're built to last. And a lot of times you can still buy and replace parts for them. They're rather efficient in a way of they don't break down as often, and you can go a lot farther before you have to fill up or shut down.
Yeah.
The electric cars, they don't have the drive span. You only get so many miles, then you have to charge for so many hours, and yeah, they do take quite a toll on the grid. In addition to that, and I watched a report about this, the electric cars and the manufacturing of the electric cars requires so much resources, and
Yep.
the I want to cite this properly, but I'm going to end up screwing this up in some way. So we'll just say the necessities and the resources and the production of the electric cars actually puts more harm and stress on the environment than driving a fuel efficient four cylinder. Okay? So,
Yep.
in the same regard, going the same way on environmental harm, if you want to drive an old classic car, most old classic cars are 8 cylinders, and they only get about, well, 6 to, if you're lucky, 15 miles to a gallon. So when you weigh electric cars versus gas cars, let's weigh environmental risks as well as the ability to continue using the vehicle. And when you want to continue using an electric car, you just have to charge it. Parts are going to be a bit more expensive, but electric cars are pretty reliable in a sense that the motors are built well enough to continue moving, and the engines are built to, or not the end, the
Yes,
batteries are
but
built to hold the charge and recharge thousands of times over again.
only problem is I still have to say electric motors. Even though we've gone far, electric motors are still not as reliable as gas engines because me as a tech guy can honestly say that electric motors, like any kind of electronics, are very, very needy pieces of equipment. If it gets too hot, its reliability, its efficiency will falter. If it gets too cold, its efficiency will falter. And also, there's that breaking point. If it gets too hot, it will outright burst in flames, and they have shown that with electric cars. And
Absolutely,
hey,
those batteries are dangerous.
also even with those hoverboard things, where people were riding around with them, and while they're digging them, going to point A to point B in them hoverboards, they burst into flames right under their feet.
Yeah. Um, Same thing with
Uh,
the Samsung Galaxy 7, wasn't it? The phone that
yeah,
exploded. It's the batteries and the way the batteries are made in such a compact way, and the wiring so intricate that if a wire or anything becomes overheated, crosses over, gets bent in the slightest or fractured just a little bit, then it can spark and self ignite. And that's kind of a dangerous situation. Almost as bad as the 66 or 68 Mustang when they put the fuel tank in the trunk, but it wasn't bolted down properly, so in a front end collision or a rear end collision, the gas tank would spray gas all over the passengers.
yeah.
So, I mean, everything's going to have its upside and downside. I took the two extremes here, so we go from a classic V8, probably a V8 classic car, to an electric car. And we are going to say then that in a versus competition, the gas car versus the electric car is overall more reliable and efficient. Is that what we're
Say that
gonna go in?
again.
So in a versus match between the classic car and the electric car, we're gonna say that the classic car is going to be the overall more reliable and more efficient.
It's more reliable, but more efficient. Uh, I have to say the electric car beats it on efficiency.
Okay, so
But
let's discuss that.
reliability, classic car wins.
Okay, so how is the electric car more efficient than the gas car then?
Well, it had well between for well, it also depends on the classic car. You could get more mileage on an electric car than a classic car.
Okay, now if that mileage requires a certain amount of fuel to be burnt somewhere at some electric station, and that amount of fuel surpasses the amount of fuel used to fill up the tank in that classic car, does that then take away the efficiency of the electric
No,
car?
yeah, no,
So it's still
sir.
more efficient if it uses more resources to run it.
No, it's not more efficient if it takes more resources.
That's one of the arguments with these new electric cars is that the resources needed to charge up these batteries, because some of them require 220 as opposed to 110 volts to charge. And when you go to push that much electricity through, it takes more electricity to push that electricity through. And you end up using more to charge the car, and that electricity has to be created somewhere. So, assuming that you're not getting all of your electricity from solar and not getting it all from water or any other method, they're burning gas or coal somewhere at a plant to create that power that's needed. So, you are still using the resources. And in a lot of cases, with some of these full electric cars, you're using more resources than a classic motor.
Yeah. So yeah, I get. Well, based on that, classic car has it beat.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I want to make sure we're looking at every angle. If you drive a new electric car, there's so many cool features you could be safer in the new electric car.
Actually, with the classic cars compared to the newer cars, classic cars are usually made out of steel and can take a beating, whereas most cars nowadays are made out of either some kind of alloy or fiberglass or some kind of plastic.
Okay. And they're
And
designed so that they'll.
and there has been several accidents between a classic car and these newer cars, and these newer cars are nothing more than a smear on the road, whereas the classic car has like a little dent that could be easily beat out with a hammer.
Okay. And beyond the car, how's the passenger? I don't agree.
Well,
I perfectly agree with you. I really hate how these new cars fold and crumple at the lightest bit of impact. But they're designed to do that knowing that people are going to hit something.
yeah. Well, with actually, if the classic car has a seatbelt, the driver comes out okay.
Oh, and there's our 10 minutes. I gotta remember, I'm not talking to a mic on my headset anymore. I'm talking to one that's sitting on a stand now, so I gotta stop turning myself away from the stand. All right, let's go back to the board. Where are we on time? It's 9:30. We're halfway through the show. I'm wondering if
Oh,
everybody is just hung over today.
yeah, maybe. Well, let's see. Well, television.
Television. The life expectancy of current television style media.
Ah, well, at the rate they're going, I won't say. I'll say maybe 10 to 15 years, and I'm being generous. The reason why I'm saying that because the media has shown television media like Fox, CNN, all of them have shown that they have a bias. And why are you going to sit there and watch a bias when nowadays you can go on things like Facebook, YouTube, uh, to an extent, Twitter? Hell, if you know where to look, Tumblr and 4chan, they have unbiased because guess what? They are actual video clips of what happened, and there are actual reporters that have no bias. It's just sitting here saying, well, this is what happened, and this is how it is. Heck, there's YouTubers that do stuff that are starting to do stuff like that. Well, this is what happened, and this is how it is.
Okay, I tend to watch some of the clips of current media on YouTube. And I also, right now, because of a really good deal I got, I'm locked into a 2 year, really cost effective contract to get DirecTV. And as I'm watching the two of them versus each other, I'm noticing that when I try to, well, usually it's my wife watching a movie, constantly pressing fast forward through the commercial breaks. And when I watch something on YouTube, I'm just hitting one button to click through that ad at the beginning. Sometimes I'll just let it play. Depends on the person whose video I'm watching, I guess.
Yeah,
So, it's it's changing how people are watching the same media by them watching it in a different place. So does that mean that that media will die and that they'll start doing things maybe like YouTubers and they'll record the show and then release it to the audience that wants it as opposed to recording the show, selling it to the advertisers and then releasing it in snippets and block sections? Are we going to
yeah.
see the end to streaming 24-hour long channels with programming on them if you have a DVR and unlimited, or not unlimited, if you have a DVR and on demand?
I I re- I really don't. 24-hour streaming? No, I don't see an. I don't see an end to that. Actually, and as far as TV goes, more and more people are contemplating whether to go on to stop relying on like satellite television and stuff like that, and just get their stuff, get their videos and stuff off of internet run sites.
And there are still some people that get their videos and their shows from television or happen to have cable or satellite and a DVR or a video recorder, digital recorder, for them to record their shows on. So, will we see the end to that, or is it just going to keep going in the snippets? And how are we looking at this?
Uh,
What do you see it changing into? How do you
well,
see it changing?
how I see it is, it's going to be the TV's going to be the next radio.
It's going to be there, but people aren't going to pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, because the radio program's never gone away. It's just people people only listen to the radio when the power's out or they need to drive to work, or the TV's going to be that utility that people are only going to use like when they just get up in the morning, or they had a rough day and they don't feel like sitting at their computer, or they just want to lay back and unwind and dumb themselves down.
Absolutely. I think that's about the only time that I sit back and watch TV, no matter what way I watch it, is when I'm done with all the other stuff I'm doing, I'll sit back and watch something
And
to
and the,
unwind.
and the thing is, things like books are making a comeback.
Yeah.
It may be in digital form, but reading a book is still reading a book, even if it is in digital form. Uh, like for me, for instance, other than the news, the morning news or the afternoon news and the evening news, eh, I don't watch TV at all because, again, that's the only times get out, get up and cook, are the only times I look at TV. Other than that, I'm either looking at YouTube videos, playing games, chatting online, or reading the mangas that I like. Other than that, I don't watch TV.
Or have to agree, there's not much left on there worth watching except the occasional shows that they come up with. Sometimes I'll sit back and watch the offshoot Marvel shows. They just came out with a new episodes of one. I've been meaning to sit back and watch it. Why can't I think of the name of anything this morning? I am completely blank. It's a new Marvel. It's a Marvel show. It's in second or third season. It's one of the smaller shows, but it's still pretty cool. Which one is it, hon? No, not that one. But that's about the only time I'll sit and watch it, and I'll wait till the whole season comes out so that I can take the entire day and go, okay, I'm getting this show out of the way so I can see what happens. I can't sit and watch one show at a time. Oh, look, there's one more show out. I'll watch it, and then I'll watch 3 other shows, and then I'll watch 7 shows tomorrow, and then I'll get back to watching this next week and forget what happened.
Yeah, when I used to watch TV, it's more of a grind thing, and even when I decide to, hey, I wanna watch anime, it's not just okay. I'm just gonna watch a couple episodes and be no. I'm gonna sit there and grind through it.
Yeah,
It-
I'll sit there and watch a whole bunch of stuff. I'll watch right through everything. I spent probably about a year binge watching Netflix. Netflix. I can actually remember the name of something. Oh, I'm slow on the reaction time. Hold on, let me get that in. Netflix, I can actually remember something. There we go. But the shows just aren't worth watching anymore. Even some of the cooler ones aren't worth watching when they come out. It's like, yeah, that's nice. I'll watch it when I get around to it. Nothing's important enough to watch it right when it comes out, so TV just isn't going to stay the way it is. So as for life expectancy, I think it's already passed. Almost every channel I have has an on-demand channel, and that's all on top of the fact that I have a DVR. And that's if I even touch any of that, because that's mostly for my wife.
Yeah, that's the only reason why we've got satellite television is for my mother, because my my dad really doesn't watch TV other than the news. He plays games and watches YouTube.
I have to tell you, that is one of the cool things to the subscription that I have is that because I have all of those channels on my package, my television package, I also have access to all of those channels' apps. So if I want to jump online and watch a CNN report, I usually get like 10 minutes and then it goes, you have to sign in. Well, cool. Now I can watch the CNN report on the app and leave and go to the NBC and watch it on NBC and leave and go to ABC. I can go from app to app, from broadcaster to broadcaster, and watch their content without watching it on TV. I can go back and watch everything individually on their apps or online through my now access that I have because I pay for a little subscription.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think it's already past its life expectancy, and I think it's already made the changes that are going to be made, so we'll see how long the new current works for.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to continue talking for 10 minutes between two people. Usually I like to throw in that third person for those extra inputs.
Oh.
All right,
Ooh.
so we're at quarter of the hour. The stream seems to be going moderately well, even though not a lot of people are joining us today.
Yeah.
And we still have a bunch of topics left on the board.
All right. Well, YouTube.
YouTube. There is nothing new, just recreations of what's been done.
Yes, and that's a yes and no. Yes, there's a lot of people recreating the same thing because hey, that's what gets the views, and views equals money. But since the whole adpocalypse thing that's been happening, people have kind of decided to break the mold because hey, views don't equal money, and a lot of people have decided like, hey, I need to find my own shtick so I can get more people to look at my stuff and try and get them to patron me.
Now, you're more of a consumer than a creator, right?
I'm a I am a creator in the aspect is I join streams with people whenever I can and help them out because I'm not good at editing at all, and I'm trying to get my name out there so I could do more collabs with people and have my name out there by that.
Okay, so you're looking more of like something like this, vlog style, conversation style, sit and chat with people, hang out for a while. That's what kind of content you're looking to have.
Yes.
Okay. I myself, I want to say I started out doing comedy and response videos back in April, and I watched a lot of other people's and I kind of did my own, and I tried to do them my own way, but no matter how differently I did the videos, I still felt like I was doing what everybody else was doing. And every time I would do a Riley video, and then I would see another Riley video, or I did a QKS, Queer Kid Stuff video, and then I saw another creator do the same video and be like, okay, I'm not really making any impact. How are people going to notice me as being different if I'm putting out the same types of videos everybody else is? So I tried to move on and stop using so much content from other sources, and I tried to go through and make more of my own content. So there's several videos in there where I literally just went through and pulled a few images or pictures, or created some images and pictures, and went through and made all of my own illustrations and stuff so that I could say that more of the content is my own, and then I just commented on the topic that I wanted to talk about. And that was fun, but it didn't feel as entertaining as the funny response videos, or trying to be, cut in humorous clips in between responses. So I just kind of kept trying to do a few of those and add some new input, and then I came up with this here idea that I'm working on right now, which is fumbling a little, but I'm trying to get it off the ground. I'm trying to see if any of my ideas are worth people wanting to watch. So I'm testing my ideas out. If nobody likes them, then I might just go back to consuming content again. For now, I just feel that I have these ideas, and I have the ability to sit here for periods of time to give them a shot, so to speak. Let's see how I do, and then I'll move on if I have to.
Yeah, that and knowing what I know about how people create content, I know for a fact that my editing skills, I have no editing skills whatsoever. I don't know how to deal with this stuff, and I don't want to sit there and produce stuff and let people down. Like, hey, here's a new person. Wow, his stuff is shit, man. Wow, no, I don't. I know what it takes, and I know how hard it is, and I give praise to those that have the ability to put themselves out there like that.
Oh yeah, the time it takes to sit and just, let's say, what's the one I was using? Windows Media Maker, I think is the one I was using for a long time. To sit and chop up frame by frame on some of them, or especially trying to respond to Riley when he doesn't breathe. Trying to chop a video down to a frame is difficult at best. And then to add in images, you really don't have too many choices when you first start out and you're not paying anything and you haven't learned how to do much yet. You just toss in funny images, so the pixels are way off and you see the quality is crap, and you go back and watch your video and go, why would anybody watch my video? I need to do better. And then you just
Yeah.
you learn from there. But I've had to go watch other people's stuff to create stuff that I'm seeing. And if I wanted to, let's say I use Blender to create my skull, I had to go back and watch tutorials of stuff other people have done. I had to go find images of skulls other people had drawn and import them to the program for me to sculpt my skull close to. And then I had to use other people's work to build from. So, is anything I've done new, or did I just look at it differently? So has it all been done before? I even found out after my first episode, I found out there was a whole nother show who had the same type of premise as my show to bring forth topics to discuss between a few different people. It was a different objective, but really my first show was really close to what he was doing, and then I got these resources to add the board and other things, and my show kind of went in a slightly different direction. But out of nowhere, I never talked to him or anything, never saw his show, and had the same basic idea to bring people on and discuss topics. So is there any real new ideas, or is it just stuff that's being recreated in different ways?
Well, being recreated in different ways still can be a new idea. It's not the exact same idea, but I mean, yeah, it may be something like this. Man, my head is on. It may be something like that idea, but it still be considered something new if you come at the same idea with the new approach. It's like instead of seeing it as the same idea, see it as you're making a better mousetrap.
Yeah, but a better mousetrap is still a mousetrap. It's something that's been done. It's just different. So, is there anything new, or are we just recreating what's already been done because we're running out of ideas? And I don't even mean
Uh,
it in an intentional way. Again, are we doing it maybe because I we are running out of possibilities of ideas of things to create? There's been
well,
so much available that what is there that hasn't been done, and how do you find that?
I think I see it as a not a we're running out of ideas, but we're running out of things we are allowed to put on social media.
Oh, so it's more. It's not so much as a limiting of new ideas. It's stifling of new ideas because of the restrictions that are being imposed. People don't want to increase. So, are those ideas that we're not seeing? Are they the ideas that we want to see, or are they just ideas that are out there that might be why
I
we're
think
not seeing them?
no, I think that they are ideas that we want to see. It's just that people are afraid, hey, if I do put this out here, I could get in trouble because I might offend the wrong people, and then all my hard work is going to be taken away. You see it all the time on even though this is a different format, you see it all the time on Twitter where YouTube creators they say one thing out of line or whatever the wrong people consider out of line, and your account is either blocked, banned, uh, put into some sort of timeout. It's happened to quite a few YouTubers that I know where uh, their Twitter's been pretty much shut down because they said something that offended the wrong people.
Yeah, I have to agree. 6 minutes left. I'm gonna let that timer run out, and I at the same time I'm going to lose a little bit of my stream health while I attempt to send an invite. Someone who I would love to have in here and have a conversation with. If I can get to him. How do I spell that? A-N-O-N. I can DM you a link.
Uh,
Why? All right. Well, here's the cool stuff. I know that my show is early. I don't know what time zone you're in.
I'm I I'm in the Eastern time zone,
So
so yeah,
you're
it's 9:55.
yeah, so you're on the same time I am, and my show is running at its usual hour, and my wife is going to give me a glare when I say I'm probably going to run overtime today because I just got a response from Cognitive Thought, and I'm trying to send him a invite to get into the hangout, which is why my stream might be tanking just a little bit right now.
Yeah.
So, as I try to do all this in the background, we can just chat away, or I can go through some transition music. What sounds best? Alright, let's see. This. enter at that to him. Tweet. Alright, so I just sent him an invite to join the room.
Alright.
Let's see, what I need to do is put my phone more in charge of this Twitter crap, because my phone doesn't steal the bandwidth from my show like trying to use Twitter does. So I will multi-resource my resources. Send this like that over to myself on here, and then I can take it here, and there it is. Now I have that link. We can copy it. No, I don't want to do that. Alright. Maybe I should end the show for today. I think maybe we'll go that route because my stream health just tanked. We'll see if I can't start another one up here shortly and see how it goes. I'm going to have to reset my board as quick as possible though.
Alright.
Alright, well I will catch you in a bit because my stream just went red and I lost viewers.
Okay.
So thank you for joining me, Full Metal Joker.
No problem.
It's good to have you on again. I linked you in the description for other people to know you were here. And I will catch you later. Cue outro music.